Hello, welcome to Champs Drink Champs, everybody. This is Taylor. I am having a solo episode today, and in true Taylor solo fashion, we are recording right after work, right before yoga, and we're having a more spiritual episode because that is what my episodes tend to be. So, welcome, everybody. Happy to have you here. So I'm not going to do a check-in this week because I'm recording solo. We did just get back from San Diego. We had a really fun girls trip. So we will catch you up on that next week when Shelby and I record together. So we'll just dive right into the episode right now. Today we're going to be talking about signs from the universe, and I'm really excited about this episode. I feel like this is such a broad topic, so we are literally just going to be scratching the surface today. So I've just picked a few of like the basic big things of signs of the universe. So what I really want to reiterate here, the universe can be whatever you want it to be. It can be God. It can be your higher self. It can be just the universe as a whole. It can be different energies, whatever it is that you connect with through getting signs, basically. For me, I kind of tend to think of it as the universe as a whole, which that includes angel numbers, my angels, my spirit guides, quote unquote God. I don't believe in a singular man as God or Jesus. I believe that Jesus was a real person, but do I think God, Jesus, Holy Ghost, the things that I have been taught growing up, do I believe in those things? No, I don't. So when I say God, I interchangeably use the universe and God. So God is the universe to me. It can be a specific person to you, like Jesus, or I don't even know what other religions call. I don't think that they call it a heavenly father. But yeah, God, whatever you want it to be. So this is all kind of a newer situation for me. If you listen to my episode about me leaving the church, the Mormon church, LDS church, I kind of went through a period of atheism after I left the church. And that has led me to kind of discovering like what it is that I believe and what it is that I want to believe in. And so this has all been kind of a fun little journey that I've been down the past couple of years. So what really kind of got me interested in this, and I know that I've talked about this before and I've shared it before, I will share it again, because it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. I was listening to Chelsea Handler's podcast. I don't even think she has the podcast anymore, to be honest. And I kind of just like stumbled into it. Me and Shelby were going to one of her comedy shows. We got tickets somehow. I can't even remember. I don't remember if we bought them or what exactly we did. But so I was just trying to kind of like become familiar with Chelsea Handler. So I was listening to her podcast. And the first podcast of hers that I listened to was about, she had a psychic on there, and it was about death and people who die and how you get signs from the other side. And this is when really my grief journey started beginning, when I really realized how deep rooted my feelings towards death were, and my fear towards death, essentially. And so I really did force myself to listen to it, because even hearing the words death made me so uncomfortable that my brain would just like go into this weird anxiety mode, and it would just basically shut off. So with this podcast, I've actually listened to it 3 times since the first time I listened to it, because I get something new out of it every single time. So I will definitely share that. But in this podcast, the psychic is talking about how the other side communicates with us, and kind of like what happens after you die, and how you can ask people who have passed on to give you signs. And so I actually ended up buying her book. I think it's just called Signs. I was actually going to look before I started recording and I forgot, but I will also post that on our Instagram page. Yeah, I think it's just called Signs. But anyways, it's about asking people from the other side to send you signs. And that's what really kind of, it was very intriguing, and it made sense to me. The biggest problem, well, one of the biggest problems that I had with the LDS faith was none of the things that they were teaching made any sense to me. Like the idea of like 3 different kingdoms, and like having to go through a temple and like a place of worship and all that stuff and having all these rules to follow, none of that made sense to me. And it just didn't feel like comfy in my body. One of the questions that my therapist asked me when we were talking about death, because none of us really knows what happens after we die, right? And he asked me, like, what makes you feel comfortable when you confront yourself about death? Like, after dying, what makes you feel okay? And that's what you need to dive into. That's what you need to believe. And so I did a lot of soul searching to kind of like figure out what makes me not want to puke when I'm thinking about death and when I am confronted with people dying. And honestly, the way that this podcast explained things is what makes me feel comfortable. And that's what made me really dive into more of like the universe type things and kind of the woo-woo type things. I've gotten a lot of questions. I put a question box up on our Instagram and I've gotten a lot of questions. And so I'm going to kind of, instead of having just like one question time, I'm going to kind of just answer the questions as we go through them. So one of the questions I got is, how much woo is too woo? And I love this question. And I think it's just up to you. I think I'm just going to continue to say, like, whatever feels comfortable in your body is what you should believe in. Whatever makes you feel comfort at the end of the day, or whatever brings you comfort if you are having anxiety or stress about something, that is what you should expand your knowledge on, and that is what you should focus on believing in. So I don't think that there is too much woo, to be honest. I think that as much woo as you want to do. I know that I'm definitely embracing more my woo-woo side for sure. And I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. It makes my anxiety lessen. And I don't know. So, with that, when my dad passed away, I started asking him to send me signs, because as much as I loved this podcast, as much as I love this book, as much as I loved this idea, this concept. So basically, let me explain a little bit about what she says. She says that our souls on the other side, whatever the other side is, she also is not very sure what the other side is, but whatever that is, our souls sign a contract. And each life that we live, because I don't necessarily believe in reincarnation necessarily, but kind of in a way that we are going through life over and over and over again. And we're meant to be here to learn different things and teach other people and find love and love things, love people, and bring joy out into the world, bring that good energy out into the world. So this lady, her name is Laura Lynn Jackson, and she essentially said that, like, we sign up for things on the other side, and we sign up for our trials, we sign up for our joys, we sign up for all of the things. And that is what our mission on this timeline is meant to do, is whatever we signed up for on the other side. And the people that we meet, the people that we come in contact with, all of the things, that is all meant to happen. So I totally connected with it, totally believed in it. It made me feel comfortable. I was excited about it. But you don't really believe stuff until it happens. And so I started asking my dad for signs. And the biggest sign, because my dad loved old cars, and that was like the thing that I could connect with him and not want to punch him in the face, was going to car shows. And so that was something that I just deeply connected with him with. And so I started asking him to send me old cars. And I am telling you guys, anytime I've needed a sign from the other side, it's shown up in an old car form. And it's crazy to me that it does, because he never lets me down. And I haven't really dove deeply into my relationship with my dad, and I don't think I'm going to on a public platform, at least until I process it for myself. I'm not interested in documenting my processing journey with it. But what I will say is that my dad did not show up for me in a lot of ways while he was on earth. And so the fact that he's doing it on the other side, it means so much to me. And there's just been so many times that he's shown up in the form of an old car, and it's ways that you cannot miss it. So a few examples I have is when Gypsy was sick, I had to drive her down to Ogden, so about an hour away from my house, to go to a vet. And as I was driving down there, I was just so stressed, so uncomfortable, so sad. Like, my intuition knew it was the end and all of the things. And as I was driving through the canyon, I went around kind of like a little corner thing, and there was a bright blue old car, like old classic car. And it was just like parked on the side of the road. And it was, there was no rhyme or reason for it being there. And so it's this bright blue car, like you cannot miss it. And the day that that Gypsy passed away, that we were going to put her down, Tony and I were like sitting on the porch with her one last time. And like, we were so sad. And all of a sudden we heard this obnoxiously loud noise. And we looked over on the road, and there was this old classic car driving down the road. And it was like this ultimate form of like comfort of like, everything is going to be okay. And even Tony knew. He was like, "Hey, Mike, thanks for the sign. Like, we appreciate it. We needed it in that moment." So it was just like things that I just really needed, like times that I really needed it. He's always shown up. And it's just because I asked him maybe a week after he died to start sending me those whenever I needed them. And I don't know if it's how I was taught in the church that like this stuff is wrong, or that this stuff is weird and you shouldn't believe it and blah, blah, blah. But I've always, I feel the comfort, and I know it's my dad, but then I will try and talk myself out of it, of like, this isn't true. Like, it's a coincidence, blah, 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 like whatever my reasoning is. So one big sign that my dad has shown me that was like a slap in my face, that I was like, okay, Dad, I get it. Thank you. Right after Gypsy died, I was cleaning the house, and I was just so sad. And I hate being like alone with my thoughts when I'm in a high anxiety moment. So I will have music playing, or I'll have the TV on, like just as I'm doing my things, So I had the TV on. It was Girls Next Door, and I was cleaning my house. So I wasn't really paying attention to it. It was just kind of like, the noises of something else in the house besides just me. And let me say, I am an avid Girls Next Door watcher. I've seen all the seasons multiple times. Like, I listen to their rewatch podcasts. I'm rewatching it right now with their podcast. Like, I have literally seen it hundreds of times. And there was this moment that Holly Madison had this stuffed animal, and I wasn't even really paying attention to it, to be honest. But she said, "Hey," I asked my dad for a weird sign. I wanted a very specific sign to know that everything was okay. So I asked him for a giraffe. I asked him just to send me a giraffe, that to let me know that Gypsy was with him and that she was okay. This was a few days after she had died, maybe not even a week, but I had asked for this specific sign, a giraffe. And on the Girls Next Door, I don't even know. Honest to God, I don't even know what episode this is on. I'm hoping that in my rewatch right now, I'm just watching one episode per week to keep up with our podcast. I'm hoping that I'll see it again, because I don't even know what episode this was. They were somewhere that they had a stuffed animal giraffe. And Holly said to Bridget, she said, "Hey, Bridget, look at my giraffe. I named her Gypsy." And I remember distinctly, I was mopping my floors, and I stopped, and I was like, "What?" And so I paused the TV, and I rewound it, and I watched it 3 times, and it said every single time, "Hey, Bridget, look at my giraffe. I named her Gypsy." And I was like, okay, like this is my dad, and I need to stop just writing it off as like a coincidence, because it's not. Like, this is a clear sign in my face. Without a doubt, this is my dad telling me that Gypsy's okay. If you're new here, Gypsy's my dog. She passed away last year. She was my little baby. So that's who Gypsy is. You're probably like, who the hell is Gypsy and why, but no, she was my dog. We had her for a long time. So anyways, so that's just little signs of the universe. So I have a lot of questions. Okay, so one of the first thing I'm going to dive into is angel numbers. So big things that how the universe shows me signs is through angel numbers and through things that I ask for. I see angel numbers all of the time. So this question says, do angel numbers come in twos, threes, or fours, or does it matter? So an angel number is a consecutive group of numbers. They're either the same or a pattern. So if you think 11, 11, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, things like that. So there doesn't have to be a certain amount. It can be as many amount of numbers as you want. If you see 1, 2, 3 pattern go on and on and on and on forever, that is an angel number. So there's no really right or wrong way to see angel numbers or to know that it's an angel number. It's just a consecutive number or pattern of numbers that you see all the time, or you see after you ask to see like a sign from the other side. So angel numbers are a huge thing for me. A lot of times it'll either be my dad communicating with me, my spirit guides, my angels, just the universe in general. I recently listened to a podcast. It's called AG University, and it's very, very woo-woo type things, and I love it so much. But she just dove into angel numbers. I'll also share this podcast too. But she talks about really stopping and paying attention to what's going on in the moment that you see your angel number, which is not something that I did before. I would see the angel number and I'd be like, cool, 1111, or you probably hear all the time, like 1111, make a wish. Or I'd be like, cool, it's 444, like cool angel number. And then I just kind of like move along with my day. Like I wouldn't really take the second to like process, okay, what's going on here? And it's not like a whole thing that you like need to sit and meditate and be like, oh my gosh, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Like, no, if you see an angel number of any sort, whether it's the consecutive numbers or the pattern of numbers, just stop for a second and just kind of check in with yourself. So this can be either a moment to have gratitude, to say an affirmation, check in on how you are mentally, be aware of what you were thinking about, where your emotions are in that moment. There's so many different things that you can do here when you see these angel numbers. So just do like a quick little check-in. Like sometimes my check-in is like, oh, cool, it's 444. Like, let me real quick look at what my affirmation is on my phone, or let me say one of my own affirmations and put it out into the universe. Or, oh, it's 444. Like, how am I feeling right now? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling happy? Or it's 444. What exactly am I thinking about right now? So there's lots of different things that you can do to kind of just take a moment and check in, because this is literally the other side trying to communicate with you and trying, especially if you ask for it. A lot of people will ask for an angel number. Like, oh, if I am on the right path, send me this angel number so that I know that I'm on the right path, or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about angel numbers. I'm more than happy to dive deeper into it on like a specific episode just about angel numbers. I think that that would be really fun. So if you are interested about it, let me know. Sorry, I'm also looking at my notes here. Okay, so I've only been doing like this little check-in for, I don't even know, maybe about 2-3 weeks, but I do notice that it makes a big difference. There are some times, because I have like notes on my phone. I really utilize the notes on my phone. I have like a journal note on there that I feel like I need to remember it. Like if I had a thought that came, or an emotion I was feeling, or something that was making me feel that emotion, I just hurry and jot it down. The day, this is the angel number I saw, this is how I was feeling. It just really helped me connect with my higher self. It helps me connect with my soul, and I really appreciate that. So I'm really happy that I started doing that, and I highly recommend if you see a lot of angel numbers. So my wedding date is actually an angel number. So it's 9/23/23, and I specifically wanted that day not only because it's a fall equinox, because the fall equinox is such an important part of my life and such a big thing to me, but I thought it was the best angel number. So this number sequence means that you are on the right path and you trust that everything will work out. And this number also means that your twin flame is near or a part of your life. Twin flames is kind of a deep topic, but I've always felt like Tony was my twin flame. ever since the moment I met him. So I really was specific in picking my wedding date of having it be the angel number 2323. The 9 is just kind of there because you have to have a month. So I don't really focus so much on the 9, but the 2323 I really focus on. And that really was something that was so important to me, to have a good angel number for my wedding. So angel numbers come from numerology, and numerology is such an interesting topic that we could just talk about for hours. So if you're interested in this, let me know, and I'll do a whole episode just about angel numbers and just about numerology. Again, this is kind of just like a brief overview of signs from the universe. So please reach out to me or research anything else that you want to know deeper about. The next one is intuition, following your intuition. So we've had a few episodes about intuition, and this is something that I love to talk about. I love focusing on my intuition because it is something that I ignored for so long. And now that I am embracing it, I really am excited about it. So connecting with your intuition is huge in noticing and receiving different signs from the universe. Allowing yourself to be more in tune with your intuition allows you to be able to feel things through your body. So think about like gut instincts. If you feel like something's a good idea or a bad idea, or if you feel like you need to get out of a situation, that's all felt through your body, through physical sensations in your body. So having a strong connection with your intuition is a great way that the universe can send you clues or signals or get you out of situations. So having that physical connection with your body. Another thing with intuition is if you think about people, if their name kind of just pops in your head, or I have dreams about people a lot. I get dreams about people that are like going through a hard time or need a friend or need something. I will have multiple dreams about them. So paying attention to that. If people's names are just randomly popping into your head, check in with them. There has never been a time that I've had a dream about somebody or thought about them multiple times that they haven't needed something, whether it was a friend, a hug, something big was happening in their life. I don't even know. There's so many times that I just really have learned not to ignore those things at all. I used to go like 3 or 4 times I would think about somebody before I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to reach in with them. No, it's now the first time that I think about somebody just randomly that I'm like, I need to check in with them, like something's going on with them. So that is a big thing, is connecting with your intuition. We do have an episode about intuition as well, on tips and tricks to help you connect with your intuition. People. There are people that the universe will send to you that need to be a part of your story. A big thing with this, I used to work with this guy when I worked at Czech Grandma, and he was literally a snippet in my life. Like, I think I worked with him for 5 or 6 months, if that even. But he lived in the apartment complex that I moved into when Tony and I were separated. That was such a beautiful moment for me. And it literally, the first day that he was there, I trained him, and he was telling me about his apartments and how they were lower income and how much he paid, and I should totally come live there. It's great, blah, blah, blah. I went the next day and signed the contract to live in the apartment. And I've never talked to this guy again. Once he quit that, well, I think he actually got fired, but I don't remember, to be honest. But once he didn't work there anymore, I've never spoken to him. I've never thought about him again. And I was just, well, I thought about him, but I've never had anything else to do with him again. But he brought me this beautiful opportunity for this random apartment complex that I would have never even looked into unless he had told me to look into it. So that's what I mean about people, is every person in your life has a purpose for being there. There are different things like soul connection, twin flames, all of those types of things. That's kind of like your main core people. But every people that are just like in and out of your life, they are meant to be there for a reason. And I can 100% say this, working in medical field or working with people, the patients that I see, there's some patients that say a little something, or that I see that I'm like, wow, I really needed that, or I really needed this connection to be made with me for them. I feel that way with a lot of people with yoga. I've made such beautiful friendships and such beautiful connections through yoga. And they tell me that I've helped them so much. So I know I'm a part of their journey, but they also have helped me so much. So it's like our souls were meant to meet in this physical form for some reason. So really playing around with this and like thinking back of the people who have come in and out of your lives and just being like, well, that's the reason for this person and that's the reason for this person and X, Y, and Z. It's really fun to like really think about that and kind of dive deeper into that. Repetition type things. So I have another story. Sorry, lots of stories, but my tarot cards have been telling me to embrace this stuff for like 2 years, and I'm finally just like embracing it, and I'm super excited about it. So I'm super excited to tell all these stories. So sorry. So recently I've been seeing a lot of dragonflies, like an abnormal amount of dragonflies. And in the weirdest times, like they will land on me and they will sit on me. I will see them at times that other people don't. Like there's been multiple times that I've been outside and I'll just like have dragonflies flying around me and I'll be like, Tony, come look at these dragonflies. Like there's like 3 of them and they're blue and they're so pretty. And he'll come outside and they will go away. And I have no idea where they went. I've had dragonflies land on my toes. I've had them land on my shoulder and just like sit there. I have been going to the grocery store and I get out of my car and I have a dragonfly on my roof. I've had dragonflies flying next to me when I'm driving down the freeway. Like I have had so many dragonflies around me. I actually just recently got a tattoo of a little dragonfly because it has meant so much to me to have these dragonflies. If I do not see a physical dragonfly, I will see a dragonfly in a different way. There was a day, and I see one every single day, not just because I have the tattoo now. I don't just see it on myself, but I will see a dragonfly in some way, shape, or form every single day. And there was one day that I did not see one, and it was like getting to be late. It was actually in the middle of me teaching yoga that I was like, that's so weird. I haven't seen a dragonfly today. Like, how strange. And at the end of my yoga class, I went and gave like final adjustments, and a girl had a giant dragonfly tattoo on her bicep. So like, I was like, there's my dragonfly today. So I actually Googled what this means. Sorry, I have a hiccup. I Googled what this means, and it basically, there's lots of different meanings for dragonflies, but one of them was that that you're meant to go through a big spiritual transformation. Another one in Chinese culture was bringing good fortune and bringing you money. And there's just a lot of spiritual aspects of why you see dragonflies around you. So that was a big, big sign from the universe to me of like, hey, something big is happening. I've been feeling it for a while, but like to have that extra reassurance of like something big is happening, that's outside of what you even know. And pay attention to these things, like pay attention to these things. Here's this bright blue dragonfly. If you're not paying attention, it's going to come land on you and you're going to feel its legs on you. And don't freak out. Like it's a beautiful thing. So paying attention to things that you see all of the time. Shelby does not want to accept this, but she sees bees all the time. Like she has a thing with bees. And this is another like sign of the universe to her is through bees, because and I can attest to this, she literally gets stung by bees all the freaking time. We were laying at the pool in Las Vegas where there's not a lot of bees. And we're just like chilling there laying outside. And all of a sudden she got freaking stung by a bee out of nowhere. Like random things like that. So really just pay attention to the things that you see all the time. So no matter what you believe in, any religion, anything like that, the universe is always connecting with you. If you are LDS, because this is really unfortunately, the only religion that I know deeply, you may think, the universe connection may be the Holy Ghost speaking to you. So any religion, you are getting signs from the universe. So one thing I really want to talk about is being present. If you are not present, you will miss these things because they are they're not always like right in your face, especially things of like angel numbers or repetition type things. Like if I wasn't paying attention to I was seeing a dragonfly every day, I would have missed it. Like it wasn't making it completely obvious. It was just obvious enough that if I was present, I would notice it. So really working on being present. This is something that I teach in yoga all of the time because we are not present, myself included. I am not the best at being present, whether it could be that you're getting distracted with kids or with your spouse or with friends or on social media, or you just completely disassociate because you have anxiety or you have depression or you have trauma that you don't want to work through. So you just let yourself check out of your body. We are not present enough in our lives. And that is a huge thing, is that if you want to have signs from the universe, if you want to understand them, if you want to see what the other side is trying to connect with you, you have to be present in your life. And I love that. I love that the universe does these subtle little signs that you have to be present for, because it is so, so, so important to be present. And yeah, so a few just simple ways to be present. Of course, meditation, breath work. But one thing that I am really focusing on and something that I deeply love is walks throughout the day or being outside throughout the day. Nature, ever since I think I mentioned this in another episode, but ever since I started microdosing, nature has taken on like a whole new form for me. I'm obsessed with hiking now. I used to absolutely despise hiking. I love being outside. I love the trees. I love the flowers. I love the smell of outside. I love the sun coming through the trees. I love the rain. I'm hoping this transpires into the winter, that I love the snow. I do not know what microdosing shrooms did to my brain and what like neural pathway it's opened up that's made me just be obsessed with nature and just obsessed with being outside. But it is truly something so beautiful. So with this program I'm doing that I talked about the last episode with Annie, one of my tasks every day is to be outside, get outdoor time 3 times a day. So I've been going on walks during the day, and it has been so, so life-changing for me to take a break and be present outside. And when I say be present, I mean, I'm going to take my phone because I am going for a walk outside. And unfortunately, the world is not the safest place on the entire planet right now. But I do take my phone with me, but I don't take anything else. I don't take headphones, so I'm not listening to anything. I'm not on social media while I'm walking. I'm not focusing on my phone. Like, it's just in my pocket just in case. And if something's really beautiful, I have it to take a picture of. Like today, I just took pictures of these fall leaves that were like beautifully draping into the water because I have this beautiful little river behind my work. So this is actually a form of meditation. It's called a mindfulness walk. And you focus on your steps, your feet hitting the ground as you walk, the sounds that you hear. So today it was the leaves crunching under my feet, and it was such a beautiful, fun sound that I'm just obsessed with. I'm obsessed with fall, and I can't handle that fall goes so fast. I really can't handle it. But you go on a walk and you focus on the sounds that you can hear. You focus on what you see, your sight. You focus on hear, sight. If you taste anything, sometimes you can get like a taste inside your mouth, and just how things feel. So when I say how things feel, I don't mean just physically. I mean emotionally, mentally as well. So my example, I have this beautiful trail behind my work at the ketamine clinic, and it is right by a little river, the Logan River, and it's just full of trees. And so all the leaves are falling right now. And walking, I could hear my feet crunching the leaves, the smells that smelled like fall outside, like kind of like the dampy, wet leaves. That's just such a beautiful thing. And the sights are just unreal because it's fall and, all the trees are changing. So this is a beautiful form of meditation that if you have a hard time being present and or meditating, I highly, highly, highly recommend taking a mindfulness walk. It is so simple, and walking is one of the easiest forms of exercise and one of the most effective forms of exercise that you can do. So not only are you moving your body and taking care of yourself that way, but you're also giving that time for the universe to be like, okay, homegirl goes for a walk every day at about 1 o'clock. Let's send her a dragonfly, or let's send her something to show like, hey, we're here, you're on the right path, or let's give her some time to process things. It is such a big thing that makes you so present. And I absolutely love that. So if you don't go on walks, I highly recommend going on walks and try a mindfulness walk. I'm telling you, it will change your life. It was a few months ago, I think, that it was kind of like a trend on TikTok of like a hot girl walk. It's essentially the same thing, except you just don't use music. You can use music if you want. I'm not saying like absolutely don't use music, but like just try it with just the sounds of nature and see what you think. Listen to the sound of the cars, listen to the sound of your own breathing, listen to your feet hitting the pavement, like whatever it is, listen to the crickets or the animals that are around. Like the world is such a beautiful thing that we should be being more present to be in touch with the world. And in turn, the universe will reward us by sending us signs and letting us know like things are okay. Okay, let me go to my questions because I kind of forgot that I was answering questions as well. So, okay, so I have a lot of questions about spirit guides. And spirit guides is a very big topic that I'm just going to barely touch on here. So a lot of my questions are, what are spirit guides? How do you find out your spirit guides? Things like that. Spirit guides is a very, very interesting thing to me. I actually have a book that when I record an actual spirit guide podcast, I will post more about the book. But everybody has spirit guides. Whether you believe in it or not, it's okay. My belief is that everybody has spirit guides. So a few years ago, I actually went to this, I don't even know what it was. It was in a park. And I don't even remember how I found it, to be honest. Again, this is one of those synchronistic type things that I just kind of stumbled upon. And I was like, cool, I'll go to this. It was like a witch fair type thing. And it just had a lot of people that had a lot of different like gifts there. And I wish I was more into this stuff then because I would have totally taken advantage of it. But this is kind of when I was like dipping my toe in and I was like, oh, maybe I'll like this. Maybe I won't. Like, it's still kind of weird, but like, I'll go. I'm interested in it. I feel like I should go. And I met with an intuitive artist and sorry, I have something in my eye. I met with an intuitive artist and she connected with your spirit guides and drew you a picture. I actually still have it somewhere. I need to find it and I'll post it. But two of my spirit guides came forward. One was a teacher and the other one was a little girl. So like an inner child type girl. And the inner child type girl just wanted to color and like be silly and be fun and be playful, which that is my personality. So I understood her. The interesting one, his name was John. He was a teacher and she told me like he wants you to know that like you are meant to teach people in some way. And at the time I thought, okay, that's because I'm going to school to be a teacher. And then when I stopped going to school to be a teacher, I was like, okay, like I literally talked to him. I was like, okay, John, like what do you mean I need to be a teacher? And that's kind of how I've just discovered yoga teaching and now going to school for therapy. Like maybe I wasn't actually meant to be a school teacher. I was meant to be a teacher in different ways. So that was how I kind of had an idea of some of my spirit guides. I've also done like spirit guide meditations. They have those on YouTube that you can connect with your spirit guides. And spirit guides are just essentially people, souls from the other side that are here to help you, to help guide you through life and to be there for you. They're your guides. You can have animals, you can have people, and they don't even have to be real people. They can be soul people, spiritual people, whatever you want to call them. So I don't think that John is a real person in my life. I think that he is a soul on the other side that's just here to help guide me in the ways that I am being a teacher. So there's many different ways that you can look into this, and I definitely want to dive into this more. It's just a very, very broad topic that's going to take a lot of time to really dive into, and something that I also want to educate myself more on before I do a whole episode on it. But if you are curious about the subject, just look up spirit guide meditations on YouTube and do one of those meditations. And I promise you, every time I've done one of those, it has been the most insane thing. Like, I can feel them in the room with me. A part of spirit guides is also angels. I also have a book about angels. All of us have angels in our life that are here for us, and you can call upon angels all the time. Like, there's an angel of protection that if you're feeling unsafe, you can say, like, I can't remember his name. I want to say it's Michael. Like, please, Michael, be here with me. Help me get to my destination safely. So you can call upon those angels. Those are essentially the same concept as a spirit guide. So it's really cool. And I'm really excited to talk about that more, but it's just not going to be on this episode. Let me just check my questions again real fast. Another question is, how can you connect with the universe? And I think I kind of already mostly answered that, but being present and being aware of your surroundings and aware of what's going on around you is a great way to connect with the universe. Another question is, why are people so scared of the whole universe concept? I think because it's becoming a lot more mainstream now, which I think is great. But before, it was so like, oh my gosh, the people that do this are so weird. Like, don't talk to them. They're freaking weirdos. Like, we don't believe in that. That's weird. Also, religion is such a big thing in the entire world. And this, in a lot of ways, even though there's so many similarities, in a lot of ways, it can discount some parts of religion. And so people get afraid of that. I was afraid of that when I first started diving into the whole universe concept. Is I was like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. Like, I'm not believing in Jesus. I'm not believing the things that I was taught through a religion. When I pray, I'm not necessarily praying to God or Jesus. I'm just kind of praying to the universe. So yeah, I was scared of it too. And I totally get that. I think it's just because it's something that is so different that we're not really taught a whole ton about. And yeah, it can seem weird to people. So people don't want to talk about it either because they're afraid of getting this stigma of like being a weirdo, which I don't think it's weird at all. I think it's so cool. And I think it's so comforting. And this concept of universal type things and soul type things, this concept is really what is getting me through this whole figuring out grief and death journey, because it feels comfortable to me. It feels like I'm putting on a warm sweater on a chilly fall night of like, oh, I'm so comfortable with this. Like, this doesn't scare me. This allows me to feel peace. And this allows me to feel like, oh, okay, everything's going to be okay. If people that I love die, like, they will still be here. So I just think that that concept of straying away from religion and things that you were taught is very, very stressful and very scary to people. So let's see. I think that's all the questions. Oh, can you ask the universe to show you something through numbers, items, etc.? 100% yes. Literally all you have to do is ask. If I am going through something hard, or if I'm really missing Gypsy or something, I will literally say, Dad, can you please send me a sign to let me know that Gypsy is here? Dad, can you please send me, I don't know, a random something and let me know that everything's okay? Or I will ask my angels or my spirit guides. Like, before I started school again, I literally asked, like, is this the right path for me? And almost immediately I saw a sequence of angel numbers and I was like, okay, thank you. So you literally just ask out loud in your head through your meditation, writing it on a piece of paper, even just whatever puts it out there. And another thing I want to touch on is it's really important to think it sounds so silly, but thank your spirit guides, thank your angels, thank your family on the other side, or whoever you're asking who has passed away. I always say thank you. Once I see the sign, I always just say, thank you so much in my head, out loud, whatever. And I've been kind of making it more detailed of like, thank you for sending me this angel number. Thank you. I needed that or whatever. Always be grateful. Great gratitude is basically, besides love, gratitude and love can be used as basically the same thing. But those two things I think are truly the foundation of life and the foundation of your soul's purpose is to be grateful and to love. So always say thank you. Okay, I think that's all the questions. So yeah, I think that's it. There is one thing that I want to announce. Nobody else knows about this besides Tony. So surprise, Shelby, when you listen. I am launching a YouTube channel and I'm very excited about it. It's still a work in progress. I'm hoping to have it up by the end of the month. So by Halloween is when I'm hoping to have everything set up and ready to go. But I am launching a YouTube channel and it's really to bring yoga and meditation into everyday life. So there are going to be 5-minute or less meditations, 5-minute or less breath work sessions, lots of different things that I'm planning on doing with the YouTube channel. And of course, I'm going to have like full length yoga practices, full length meditations, all of the things. But I really wanted to bring something to the world that people need. I am a very busy person and I'm always on the go. And sometimes I need a quick meditation in the morning that's like 3 minutes because I need to meditate. I want to meditate, but I don't have time to do it for 10 minutes. And there is literally barely anything out there that are just quick, simple. Let's get to the point. Let's start something up for our day. That's a good thing. And so I really want to bring this out there of like, anybody can do it. And if everybody has 3 to 5 minutes every day. And if that's only 3 to 5 minutes a day that you get for yourself, great. I'm happy that I could be of service to you. But I really firmly believe so much in meditation and breath work and moving your body that I understand why people aren't doing it because it's really hard to find things for busier people or for people that are nervous about it. And I feel like I teach yoga very differently than a lot of people do. I use a lot of somatic type things. I use breath work throughout the practice. I do things very, very differently. And so I really just wanted to bring this to a space that people can access it and people will actually do it. So YouTube channel coming. It's going to be called Wellness with Tay, I think is what I've settled on. Something just simple, the same as my Instagram name. So I will fill you in with more details as it gets closer, but I really just wanted to announce it because I'm so excited about it. And I just think it will be a really good thing. And I highly recommend everybody does meditation and breath work. I say that every episode and I didn't say it this episode, so I just had to throw it in there. But anyways, more details about that to come, but surprise, exciting. I'm very, very, very excited about it. So last question, more of an asking for a friend type question that somebody asked on our Instagram about the universe. Is it true when you yawn on October, a ghost puts its dick in your mouth? And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to say that's true. And I'm all for ghost sticks in my mouth. So, okay. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please share it with a friend, like, rate, review, all of the things. Follow us on Instagram at Shamps. Oh my gosh, it's been a long day. Okay. And I still have to go teach yoga. At Champs Drink Champs podcast on Instagram or our private Instagrams. They're linked in the bio on that Instagram for our podcast. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So thank you guys all so much for listening. We'll be back next week with an episode with Shelby. I hope that you guys have a fantastic week. Bye.